go.
Thank you to our $1 million babies.
We're live and ready to go back.
For the record, we actually had this originally for just
Sorry.
1 hour, right, Mary?
So does Mary need to reintroduce us back into the public
We're in
meeting?
session. Thank you, Michelle.
Back in session, okay, thank you very much. I thought it might be worth just one quick more piece of information that might be helpful for you all to be thinking about in context of all the conversations you've been having today. And this is the triangle of satisfaction. There were some studies done back in the late 80s, early 90s, when we were trying to figure out what's the best place for people to have their problems solved, and once they go to have those problems solved, how satisfied are they with the results, okay? And there were many people in the field of alternative dispute resolution who were arguing that mediation was the best place to go because people had the power over who their mediator, what selecting their mediator, of what they're going to be talking about in mediation, that it was a private setting, not a public. There are all these reasons. And other people on the spectrum of dispute resolution and decision making had different approaches that they thought would be, the best. Everybody had their own. Well, we kept saying, well, wouldn't it be cool if we could create a multi-door courtroom? And so you all could come in at any time on your own accord and have whichever type of intervention you wanted. You could select it yourself. And Texas came forward and said, hey, guess what? We've got a chief judge who is willing to do a multi-door courthouse. And the social scientists said, guess what? We would really like to do some studies on that and see if we might be able to answer this question of which is the best place to have your conflicts resolved. Turned out it did not matter which door you went into, whether you had a mediator, an arbitrator, a facilitator, a settlement judge, shuttle diplomacy, a court, a jury. It did not matter. If these three things were met, then people were satisfied with the results. Okay? Why does this matter to you? Because you are a decision-making body. You can help people accept the decisions that you're making on a regular basis by paying attention to these three things, okay? And they are related to what you were just talking about, right? The first thing is substance. Do you talk about the things that were on your agenda that you said you were going to talk about, okay? So were the topics that were meant to be discussed, okay? Number one. Number two, was the process that you used, was it fair? Was it understandable? Oops. That's a question mark, okay? Was it fair, understandable? Did people feel it was even-handed, the way the matter was handled, no matter what it was, okay? And the final thing that really threw the lawyers off on this, those of us who've been doing mediation, we weren't thrown off on this one, but the lawyers were like, oh, that's interesting. The third thing for the triangle of satisfaction was that the psychological or emotional content was acknowledged. Not there was therapy. It was just, I understand that this is frustrating for you. I understand that you were whatever. I'm hearing you express that your life was disrupted. You and your family were affected. I'm very sorry. Even still, you were well represented by your counsel. I'm gonna decide for the other side. This person still comes out satisfied with the result. And if people are satisfied with the result, there's a much higher likelihood that they will comply with that result. Much higher likelihood, okay? So as decision makers, thinking about, do we have the right things on our agenda? Is our process fair and understandable? Does it work for people who are coming in front of us? Do we make the time after we've heard somebody, if they make an impassioned statement in public hearing? Is there time for Mary or Becky as the chair and the vice chair to say, I can really hear that this is upsetting to you, or I can really hear that this means a lot to you. that much will increase the way people feel about all of you and the decisions they make, okay? So this is true for staff as well, right? I mean, this is all true for staff. And I think that, when we think about, even this meeting, right? We are not talking about the substance of the work that you are doing as commissioners, as in the retreat setting, right? We're still doing it online. We're still streaming it in case you do want to use substance as part of the conversation. We are focusing on process, and we're focusing on what is the emotional or psychological needs that this group has to be successful. We're leaving the substance out. Just what she said, right? And so leave that out, you can have these conversations.
I have so many questions.
So many questions.
But is substance about the substance, or is it about the integrity of doing what you say you're going to do?
That's process. You can talk about.
But process seems like it's about equity.
It's about both, right? It's about fairness and whether people understand it. Does it have integrity? Does the process have integrity?
Right. Okay. And maybe it was just in the way you phrase it.
Okay.
I'm also curious about, it seems like the way we engage in discourse as a country has changed dramatically. In the last 8 years, let's say.
Okay.
10 years, whatever. No reason, just it seems like that way. I am curious, because my alarm bells immediately go off. I see so many places where people say, it's not fair because I didn't get my way. And if I had gotten my way, it would have been fair.
Right.
And so, yeah, I don't know that there's a question there, except that I'm curious if this still holds, right? Like in this day and age when we are increasingly sure that we're right. And this applies to the commission as well, right? Because a lot of the issues we're talking about are deeply political and personal issues. Is there a there to investigate this and say, like, where are the places where we've had really sticky situations, where we feel like we've been fair, we feel like we've been, had integrity, we feel like we've acted with empathy, and people are still pissed because we didn't see it their way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to be patronizing, but I think, like, where we didn't see it their way.
Right.
Or we didn't rule in their favor.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's
There's still, people still are gonna grouse a little bit afterwards.
Not a little bit, we get sick.
so much.
No, I mean, in the studies that were done before,
Yeah.
people would grouse a little bit when they lost a case, right? Because
Yeah.
now you're losing everything, right? This is the decisions we made, you've lost. And it's public, right? So that adds to. So now as a public face, I'm going to say publicly, I'm not happy about this. I will live with it, right? And that's kind of the question of, can we help get people to an I will live with it? And if people have highly, what was the word I'm trying to say without getting values twice? Deeply held values or principles, they are going to stay competitive. And if your decision is something that affects their deeply held values and principles, expect people will grouse.
Because I think it's interesting because, like, I've gotten, go back where you came from, messages on Facebook after decisions that we've made where I ruled, yeah, it sucked. Where it ruled, I voted in a way that they didn't like.
Yeah.
You don't belong here, that kind of thing. People are more empowered to do that now than ever before, and people can do it privately. It was sent to my private Facebook account because I can't hide that because my name is so specific and I have a brand that I'm curating professionally related to that. So I'm just curious, right? Like how we mitigate that, because I would hate for anyone else to, I don't know if anyone else has received those kinds of messages. I'm sure you've received something akin to those, but like how do we mitigate for ourselves the emotional impact of making some of these really big decisions where people now in this world feel more empowered to attack than ever before?
Right. What I would like to send your way is some information from the High Conflict Institute that has to do with dealing with people who are either high conflict personalities, who tend to be the folks who send these sorts of things, or who are in a high conflict personality mindset. And what have we found as a field of conflict resolvers that can help to alleviate the possibility that you will become the next target of their complaints.
Okay.
And there are steps that you can take that are outlined. And so I'll get that sent through Debbie and Michelle to pass on to all of you. Can someone, can you make a note? So, or Michelle, remind me that I just.
I agree, I think that's very important, because, you know, we all got our own specific hate mail, but like, Blaze goes into free fall after all of those, some of those decisions. And I agree, it didn't matter what we did, it didn't matter what we said, it was about, the outcome was something they didn't like. So we were gonna cop it, no matter what. And I agree, I wonder about the validity of that now, is that, like, we did everything right, we checked every box, and we were forced, we have to make a decision. That means one side's not gonna be happy.
Well, I think the difference is what I was talking about, is that you all are dealing with issues, I mean, yes, in court, people are having deeply held values and perspectives, and there is a very formal, narrow process that they walk through. You were talking about things that are deeply held values.
Like culturally and
And
everywhere.
from a,
everyone's-
yeah, and they're much wider. It's,
Right.
and when they come into you to have a conversation, it is a much wider range of conversation than a judge is going to do in a trial, right? It's gonna be a single issue. You've got a ton of issues. And you might be able to resolve many of those issues in a way that satisfies people, and there's like one or two that hang out there. And so it becomes a difficult situation. You know, it's one of those situations, and it triggers people into this kind of high conflict, escalated mentality. And there is in our culture now, it's okay to send these kinds of emails, and it's not. It's never okay.
It's,
And, you know, my advice is, and my one piece of advice is, when that happens, share it with someone and try to detox. Because it is a toxification, right? So try to do whatever you can to detox away from it. Let people know, let Debbie, let Michelle know you're getting these sorts of things on your personal, so that they can share that with you. And the conversation can continue. Because if you all as public officials aren't sharing that this sort of thing is happening, what does that say? What does it say? I mean,
And if you ever feel unsafe, like we
Oh,
absolutely, like we have to escalate that and make sure that your safety is taken into consideration.
for sure.
Observation as a new commissioner, but thinking of that and thinking of that as this example. Now, the courtroom, I think those decisions, most of the people who were involved in those decisions were in the courtroom. And I would say we're working as a commission on a statewide level where the people who are highly passionate about it represent a group. And then, you know, tele illustrations, we'll go back to that group, say their perception of how we did this triangle of success, that the commission felt they did well, but then the people who are removed from that or didn't see it for themselves probably are still unable to take that into account for their own opinion of what the decision was.
Good point.
Great point. It's a great point.
I will say on the psychological emotional piece, what I've seen our commission do really well is just the way that you deliberate is an empathetic, compassionate, you know, when you're processing what you heard publicly, that falls in that category, at least for me
Yes,
as an
it
observer.
does.
You're showing all of that you're taking your job seriously, that you're listening. And so those are pieces I've seen y'all do really well
Nice.
on that.
That's awesome. That's great. That's great. All right, I just wanted to share that little bit because I think as you're thinking about how do you engage in these conversations, how do you support Mary? If Mary is doing something from a procedural standpoint, as someone has just given some pretty highly felt words, then someone else can step in. Right, if you see Mary's looking down and doing something, someone else can step in to say, we hear you. We heard that this is really important to you. We're sorry we can't spend more time on it right now. Whatever that is, that little bit will help to at least notch it down a minute. Notch it down a minute.
Also, I guess it's related to feeling unsafe, like what happened to Chair Wall when she was attacked by another public official in the newspaper. I mean, just nonsense. This is like the nonsense that we're dealing with, and that's why I'm wondering that triangle seems a bit, I don't know, dated or quaint. I mean, so.
But you're conflating it. You're trying to use the triangle of satisfaction for outside of the context. This is to help us design our processes and help us run our processes. If we can do these three things to run those things, we enhance the possibility that people will be satisfied. There's still gonna be some people who aren't, for the reasons we've just been talking about, okay? So I wanna make sure that we stay right, narrow, fixed in there, okay? Debbie's still like squinting her eyes.
Oh,
Still
no,
thinking about
no,
it.
I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, good, okay, thinking is good, thinking is good. All right, I wanna go back to the best team, the exercise that we did before lunch. And I wanna just ask you just to share with me one thing, and we're gonna just do one at a time. Until we get to the point where we hear someone say, three or five, all my points are there, okay? So, I don't know who I'm starting with. Michelle, did you participate? You did.
I did.
Okay, great. One thing, just one bullet.
Approachable.
Approachable, okay? If you can't read my handwriting, tell me, because it'll be important for the next step in this exercise, okay? Davia,
Shared purpose.
Debbie,
Creative,
Vision.
Becky, thanks. Vision. Okay, next,
Respect.
okay,
Understanding of each other's skills. Sorry, that's 3 words. I was trying to make it one, but I couldn't figure it out.
okay,
Attitude.
Commitment to the team.
commitment,
Yeah, one word. No spaces.
Just add
one M, is that what you said?
No spaces between.
one word, he said. Commitment to the
Same as
team.
me.
Oh, to team. Got it, okay, good, now I got it. I think there's 2 M's in that kind of commitment, right?
Seek first to understand.
Seek first to understand. There's an R in there, okay, yeah, thank you.
It's sort of related to understanding skills, it was complementary skills was mine.
Okay,
Agreement that the work is important.
I'm gonna keep going on here. If the agreement, okay, agreement or work is important.
For the purpose.
I'm gonna just put matters. Does that work?
Mhm.
Just because it'll fit better from a bullet. It's okay, Mary. Please.
Working with this team was so friggin' fun. Like everything we did was fun, even the shitty stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, because they made it fun, you know.
Fun? Is that-
Fun. It was
okay.
fun. It was so fun.
So can I just put fun?
Sure, do it.
Fun is on my list. Okay, good. You can do serious work and still have fun.
Well, yeah, we were dealing with really serious issues, but at the end of the day, we could laugh about
Yeah.
something that happened.
Okay, good, great,
Supportive.
supportive. Did you guys want to participate? Never mind. Michelle, you look at me like,
I'm not
what?
sure if it's an attribute, but present.
Present, okay, good. Okay, not presence, but
Yeah,
present,
present,
engaged.
in the moment.
Okay, good.
Friendship.
Okay,
Mine are repeats at this point, kind of common goals, I think is similar to shared purpose.
okay, well, it's a little different.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it,
Okay.
but I appreciate the close. The closeness, but let's do that. Okay, common goals, good, thank you.
So strong personal accountability or accountability.
what you were, whatever you did, you said you were gonna do, you did it. Strongly.
Skilled leadership.
Say it.
Skilled leadership.
Skilled. Thanks.
I think mine are repeats.
Okay, pass, okay. Bob, have you got more?
I don't think so. I had, everyone pulling their own weight, but I think that's up there.
Okay. Can you put this on the wall? Actually, stick, if you would stick this right behind you on the window, that's gonna be, I hate to cover that window, but. This is 2. And it was, say it again, Bob, because it was something.
I said just everyone pulling their own weight, but I think that was pretty well covered in some of the others.
Okay, good. Next, Sean?
Diverse representation.
And there may be some questions that people wanna ask about some of these, about what does it mean, right? What does diverse mean to you? But I'm not gonna ask that right now, that's for conversation later. Mark?
I win, you lose. No.
It's like, wait, what did you say?
No, don't write that. Camaraderie. With willingness to accept the outcome and still be friends.
Yeah, that's the fun part, I agree. Yeah, I would agree. We had some of our worst decisions ever, and I still gave Kathleen a bottle of wine. And I didn't hit her upside the head with it. Like, I actually.
Oh, was your team this one?
No.
I will say that in speaking to you all to prepare for this, that was one of the things I thought was wonderful, is that I can tell you now in this public meeting, all of you shared with me that you've been through disagreeable times, and you all have deep respect for each other and still agree with each other, so.
Except for Sean. Otherwise, we're all-
Except for Sean, but he was the commissioner, so it didn't matter, right? Yeah, exactly. No, there's really deeply held respect here. And I did feel that was important to share with you when we all came together, but I didn't want to tell you that along the way, so. That was for me the best news, working with y'all today. So, okay, so I believe it's Leslie's next.
I put individual talent, but is that sort of already there?
It's kind of there. We
Yeah,
got
like pulling your own weight.
Well, we got understanding
Expertise?
skills, complementary
Understanding of
skills.
skills,
Yeah, so I think it's kind of redundant.
Now let's do expertise. Okay?
The recognition that the group effort is better than the sum of the parts, like 2 or 3 or 4 of you are, add up to more than, it's not well said, but it's a huge one.
I didn't say the sum of the parts, I just put group effort better than individual. Sum of
It
the parts.
adds up to more, I've actually seen it add up to way more, because it is back and forth.
Okay,
Kind of the e pluribus
and
unum.
I added additive.
Huh?
Kind of like e pluribus unum. It's on the quarter. Out of many one.
Yes, exactly.
I had egoless collaboration, even though there was, or non-hierarchical, even though there was a hierarchy, if push came to shove, we didn't act like it most of the time. Yeah, egoless collaboration.
Hierarchical collab. Okay, it was the hierarchical, though, having to print that in public. It goes along with camaraderie that someone maybe do too, right? Okay, please,
Everything's there.
pass,
I would add trust.
observant, trust, okay, thank you.
Just to throw my 2 cents out there.
Just one from the back. Trust, good. Observant. Observant. So people are actually noticing what they're noticing, good. They're not just, they're noticing, right, good, please.
I wrote that we had a dedicated leader, so that when we did need a decision, we could make one.
I'm
already.
good, yep, I'm good.
Okay, edgy,
Say just a little bit more about that. So everybody,
just willing to take some risk, little edgy, willing to remove dams on the Klamath, what can I say? Edgy.
Or what was it, the wildlife?
I'm sorry.
anybody else? Anything on your list that,
Maybe one more, just for me, preparedness, come to the meetings prepared.
where's present on here?
Present is over there.
Over here, I wanna put,
Okay, that would
can I
be
put
the same.
present and prepared?
Yeah.
Can I combine those two? Okay.
Cause we have, I get 300 pages worth of stuff,
That's a lot.
that's a lot.
The 5,000 emails the night before, that one did me in.
That's tough.
Nobody actually.
That one did me
Okay.
in.
Yeah, please,
Um,
continue.
We celebrated each other's successes as though they were our own.
I have
One person found a
none
lost
that's over
kid,
here and I don't have to
we all
bend
win.
over.
Okay. It's kind of fun to like be bam, 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 and bam. Mary, you had something? Anyone else?
I have two more.
Becky, that's more than three.
I thought we could have five.
I said 3 to 5.
Okay.
Okay.
She took them all.
I also had equality and loyalty.
Equality, okay, and loyalty. So let's put loyalty here. Just because there's room for it.
Anyone ever play Boggle? You know, you shake the, and you have,
Yeah.
usually there's one person that everyone else is sitting there and everyone else is still writing down new words.
Okay, that's the
You're the
list,
winner.
right? It's an awesome list. It's an awesome list, right? I mean, this is a combined, so this is the individual inputs to the group's need for success. What I want you to do now in this next portion, how are we doing time-wise? Yeah, good. Moving right along. What I want you to do for this next one is I want you to break into groups of, I think it's 4. So 4. Look at the guys involved with this piece. That'll work. And what I want you then to do is look at these lists here and suggest, if these are the individuals, how would you all as a group, what do you think would be like 3 to 5 attributes again that you would want to say for this group to be, for you all to look back in the future and be thinking of this group as the best team you've ever part of? What, from these attributes here that you see combined together, how would you articulate those in like 3 to 5 streams of thinking? Now, if you are very artistic, some of you I know from firsthand last night are not.
These creations over here, I invite you.
I mean, there are
She's our
couple, I
in-house
think, in
ringer.
each team that might be very good. I know that Sarah can draw, and a Debbie can draw, and a Davia can draw.
And so can,
So
At
can
the end.
Dallas,
We saw a rabbit.
and we can. Mary can. I was able to figure out what Mary was doing most of the time last night. If you want to draw what this looks like to you, of what the best team from all of this would look like, draw that. But you're going to come up with some ideas of what is it that you all expect from each other, hope, aspire to be. These are really aspirational. So look at all this. And if you were to start this by saying, the leadership team, because that's what this is here, the leadership team for ODFW, including its commission, will do, you know, you can say it's a dedicated group, you know, you can have a couple sentences and then, and we do this by doing this. Does that make sense? It's the how. How are you going to do the work that you need to do? Based on this, based on the conversations that we've had all day. Cause it may be that these individual attributes kind of get you to a combined thinking of some other things. Is this making sense? It'll make sense when you huddle together. So I'd urge you then to, like, you four, pull your chairs around that way, maybe a couple come in here, work together here, same here. You guys here.
I've got two, I'm nobody.
Yeah.
Dallas.
Mine are-
So you got enough now.
I'll give you. Oh, okay, wow, mine are older. It really drives home, like, very.
You don't need that.
Not their favorite way to learn.
Okay. Yeah, well, I saw the books that you.
Gotta do class five.
Yeah, they're saying it's
Oh, yeah, let's do that. It's gonna be just over.
of leaders for ODFW and the commission, what do you all aspire to do together when you're together? How do you want to do your best practices? Okay, so I just want to say that. Now, Kathy is still drawing away
I'm
over
so
here.
close.
You're so close, and it's quite amazing, I will say. So, Mark, I'm going to start with your group. Can you read what you've got there? What did you all
I
see?
can't. The two words that we came up with are positive attitude, and in order to achieve a positive attitude, respectful of others' opinions, commitment to the work, trust, camaraderie, be prepared, care about the integrity of the decision, and opportunities to give our opinions and still come up with a decision we can live with for the most part.
Nice. Nice. Okay, awesome. Right?
Yeah.
If that was guiding. Good, thank you. Next,
Okay, we have the funny one first,
okay?
which is I'm trying to one up Kathy Yoon's art that
Oh,
she's
God.
about to come up
Good luck
with.
with that.
Which is, we have the heart. So, we have a heart, but we're also smart.
Ooh.
Nice.
And that's a ponytail.
Back to that, but at least it doesn't
All right.
have this this time.
Pigtail. Now we have a serious one.
We, very similar to Mark's, I feel like maybe not written or going to be articulated as well as he did, but that we have a shared purpose and camaraderie around that purpose and amongst one another, which I think incorporates respect and all of that. We have accountability for one another, and then we also have an understanding of one another's skills and weaknesses, both individually as fellow commissioners, but also as a group and whole.
Nice. Nice. All right, again, right?
Smart heart.
Excellent, thank you. Next.
We came up with two sentences. The leadership team demonstrates shared purpose and respect for diverse perspectives, and they trust each other as friends.
Nice. Nice.
Very nice.
Okay,
I like it.
excellent. Thank you.
We're getting more succinct.
Team, this one.
Okay, we're ready. Okay. It's like that meme of the horse where it's like really beautiful at the front end, and then on the back end, it's just
Just
a line drop
off.
sketch.
Yeah, just a little off.
Wait till you see this, because she just like set the bar like here and it's like sky high.
You're overstating it, and I'm gonna rip it. Okay, there we go. Okay,
There.
okay. It's just
walk
three
around
bubbles.
Yeah,
right?
she
You
did
read-
It's,
you read
well,
the
yeah,
bubbles
it's,
and then
we
I'll
did a
walk
word
around.
cloud.
Yes, we fit into three pillars, or like three themes. How we present ourselves, how we show up for each other, and how we approach the work. So how we present ourselves is by being present and prepared, personal accountability. How we treat each other is non-hierarchical, respectful, and with a sense of loyalty. And then how we approach the work is a sense of fun and camaraderie, a shared definition of success, and vision, shared vision. And I chose bubbles because bubbles can be easily popped, and so you have to tend to them and tend to everything, because otherwise they'll go away.
And they're fun. Walk around.
And Cherwell's gonna keep that in all of her Kathy Yoon collection.
Oh, yeah, that is.
With the flower, we got a picture of the flower, the Play-Doh flower.
The Play-Doh flowers. I know they're going to, because they're also air drying now, so I'm gonna put it away. So,
We will miss you, Kathy Yoon.
I'm gonna go get a picture of that also.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Deb, this will really blow your mind. Have you
Okay.
seen Kathy Yoon's flowers?
All right, so here is what I'm noticing in that exercise. A, thank you for engaging. You were all 100% present, right? Everybody was there, engaged in that conversation about what it was, so thank you for that. The second is that this is an incredible list. This really is, I've done a lot of these, and some aren't always great. This is a fantastic list. That's what I gotta say. And I appreciate that you were able to do it on those 2 pages like that, right? I've had one group that just, it didn't matter. They clearly didn't follow the rules of 3 to 5. They were now moving to 10 to 15. The other thing I noticed is that this caught everybody's attention. right? Everybody's liking the format of this. What I would like to suggest is that I take the stuff from the others, make sure that whatever is on your 4 individuals is somehow incorporated into this one. I will work with Kathleen, although you're leaving.
That's fine, I don't cease to exist.
We'll figure out some way
Yes, you
to
are.
do this online.
Yeah, I can do it on Canva, yeah.
Okay, oh, right, Canva, sure.
Canva's
Wow.
amazing.
And
That'll be my parting gift.
yeah, and then we will also, how we treat each other, right, is then we can include some of the ones that Mark, that this team also included, because there are a few of those that weren't here.
Can we get the copies of those?
You're gonna get copies of all of them.
Oh, you have that.
I'm going to get it,
Okay.
Mark knows that
Okay,
he's
great.
passing that my way, or I'm just gonna
He's
take pictures of
feverishly
them.
working,
Okay, perfect.
so he's doing something over there.
He's multitasking.
He's doing something for me over there. So then when we come back to the next session, we will look at whatever statement, whatever that artwork is, is this ready for you then to share with the rest of ODFW, with, as broadly as you want to share it, right? Who do you want to share it with? Does everybody feel good about what it's saying and what it is showing as your face? And are you committed to that with each other? So that'll be what we work on next. But we will take it to the next level. I just want to see, how are you all feeling about all this? How are you feeling about what you're hearing and what you're seeing?
Well, I would say it makes sense that resonated, because if you look at the 5 of the 7 of us are in the seeing.
In the scene, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and I've always talked about the different types of learning, because I do a lot of teaching, and like, for example, I'm a visual learner, and I use a lot of visuals in learning, and I think, how my wheel spins is that way.
Yeah,
So,
awesome, great, cool, okay, and there it is, not just words on a page, but pictures as well. Yeah, awesome. Other thoughts, feelings about how you're doing right now? We're at 2:15.
Feel a great sense of camaraderie. I'm having fun. I feel like there's a shared purpose here.
a little bit of sarcasm.
I don't think there was any sarcasm. I think she's being serious.
She is serious.
Any sarcasm? No,
Yeah,
it's serious.
I mean, a little bit.
You say, she is.
Right?
We had a nice chat this morning. She understands, like she watches me now. Like when I avoid something, she knows something's
Currying
up.
favor.
I am.
Right, because there is the observance, right, that people were talking about being observant and seeing what, as a team, if you guys are really gonna be working to try and have each other's backs, try and reduce the kinds of emails that people are getting from the work that's being done. I think that seems like a really good bar. It's like, are people's emails getting reduced to how nasty they are?
No.
That might be some, well, you haven't started yet. You haven't started yet. That's a question 6 months down the line, I'm gonna ask that, not today. Anything more that you want to say to each other now about this how stuff? We're gonna come back to it, but I know there are a couple closing things we need to do, so I wanna make sure there's time for that. And,
For Dallas, we only, the rest of us commissioners only got 2 meetings to be the new person. And then it was like, okay, you're not new anymore, so. Say, well, I'm the new person.
really clear.
That's what we all did. Okay.
Expectations,
You're
right?
gonna be thrown right in.
Donna, I said it for 3 years. I'm still saying it.
It's been good.
I have one quick one.
Mary, yeah.
Not so much how I'm feeling, but I think that this gives us, at least, it may not be the step, but it is one key step for getting us in line for this whole thing of,
For the agenda.
for knowing what we're gonna do this year and trying to figure out what this year looks like and how do we.
Can you
use-
keep moving that, because all I see is Annika.
Oh,
Which is lovely, but
it's a great start.
Better?
yes, much. Thank you.
You can't see it there, but it's, you could rewrite it here. And it's like, we're building the annual agenda.
And how, the how piece.
And is this something you've all seen before, or is this brand new?
We pulled that from the conversation they had in December with Sean.
Oh,
That's
okay.
just kind of repurposing his slides.
Awesome, okay, so you have seen this, you may not recognize it in a poster. Do you want some explanation?
Well, a little, I think
Sean?
part of it is communication, and it's something I talk about all the time. Like, we're building this annual agenda, but there's always like the surprise every time, like whatever month it is, like what the hell's on it, kind of.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing here, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, right? So is that the approach that was taken was do the commissioner survey, statutorily required commission work, focal areas that the vice chair, chair, and director discussed and brought to everybody. From those, there's establish the rules and the policies and the rules around those things. And then get the approvals by where are necessary. And at the end of the day, translate what these things are. If maybe you're already there, I don't know, but start to build that annual agenda so you know where you're going, what you're doing, and where you're holding your meetings. Is that right?
And yeah, and that's kind of what we laid out in December, is just, so you
This
put
is
all
the
these things
process.
together, and then that pretty much becomes the roadmap, that kind of, informs the tours, workshops, and agenda, notwithstanding surprises that come at you. Yeah, like,
There
we
can't
try,
control those.
yeah, we try to anticipate some of those, but we don't always know what other folks are gonna put on your lap, like petitions or, things like that.
But the goal being to have some sort of an annual plan that you all can see what you're gonna be doing when. You can look to see where the focal areas are, you can look to see where your special things are and make sure you're at those meetings, or if they're on the agenda at a time where you
Is that
know
on our
you can't be
website?
there, to negotiate and change it.
Just build this.
Okay, got it.
Okay? It has been such a pleasure working with you today. Thank you so much for making me feel so welcome, for feeding so well, and for doing such great work with each other. Really, really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you February and March.
February.
I
I thought March was virtual or something.
Thank you.